Hello, my friends. Hello, it's Matthew Street, and welcome to my channel. As always, I truly appreciate you being here. And folks, we're going to take a trip back in time because I was going through some stuff and I found a very cool old photo album that I've had since way back. I started this photo album in 1990 after the first time I saw Paul McCartney at the Worcester Centrum in early February 1990. Can you believe it? 34 years ago in only a matter of days. It's unbelievable. And then I saw Paul in the summer of 1990 at the old Foxborough Stadium, the old stadium where the Patriots played for a couple of nights. So I saw him 2 nights in Worcester in February of 90. Then I saw him 2 nights in Foxborough at the old stadium, and that was July of 1990. And then in 1993 on the New World Tour, I saw Paul McCartney in Toronto at Exhibition Stadium, and then I saw him at Giant Stadium only a week and a half or so later. And those were 2 great shows. But I was going through my stuff and I found old photographs of those shows that a friend and I took when we went to the shows together. So I thought I would show you those pictures in part 1 right now, and then I'm going to do a part 2, and I'll talk about that for part 2. So make sure you come back. So let's take a trip back in time, and I'll be narrating as I show you the pictures. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I've got the pictures in front of me. I'll do my best to cut down on glare and whatnot. I mean, this is the old days, folks. This is before the internet blew up. This is before all the high-tech iPhone cameras and stuff we have now. So here's shots when Paul was arriving at the Worcester Centrum in February of 1990. These won't be the best ones of seeing Paul in the limo. There will be some coming up, though, I think you really get a kick out of. So there's the limo pulling up. I don't mind my little knit cap there as my holder. Here's another shot of Paul's limo pulling up to the Worcester Centrum. Well, we did catch a hand. I think that's Paul's hand. So you get to see that. Okay, now we're inside the Worcester Centrum for the first show. And there's Paul and the gang on the stage. Remember, old style camera. We did the best we could. But, you know, this is what you had. So there's Paul there. I'll do my best to get close and stuff. There's Linda up with the red jacket. Really, really great show, by the way. Paul waving towards the audience. Again, I'll do my best here. There's Linda. Not the clearest, but there'll be some better ones coming up, folks. Don't worry. Again, Worcester Centrum. Hamish, Robbie, Paul. I think this is right. This could be, these photos might be out of order, folks. So this might be figure of 8 when he first came out. I don't recall. And then making our way, as always, you make your way closer to the stage. There's Paul's back at the big baby grand piano. Here's a nice shot. Unfortunately, Paul's face is obscured by his hand, but there you go. Don't worry, there's better ones. Here's a nice one of Linda and Paul too, but there's Linda and Paul. God bless Linda. What a wonderful person. Here's a real nice one of Paul sitting at the piano. Here's a great one of Paul in action. It's, you know, not the clearest, but getting up from his piano seat. Really nice one here, Paul waving a little towel or something to the crowd. Not clear, but it's kind of near the end of the show and Paul's holding up some flowers to the audience, but it's blurred out a little bit. Sorry about that. But again, rare pictures that you're never going to see anywhere else. All right, now we're over at Foxborough Stadium. In July of 1990, the band wore white jackets for this show, or the series of shows. So there's Paul there. Not the best, but again, this is, 1990, folks. This is what we had. A little better one of Paul there. Again, I'll do my best to give you a flavor of what it was like, you know. But I just thought I'd show them to you because where else are you going to see these, you know? Any of you that went to these shows back on the Paul McCartney World Tour. This was the next to last stop, by the way. This was, the stop at Foxborough Stadium was right before Soldiers Field in Chicago, which was the last date. There's a not a bad little shot there of Paul. Foxborough Stadium, 1990, July. This was the series of shows. I went to these 2 shows, and on that middle night, remember the night I was working security, and I told you the story about meeting Paul? Go back to that video. Maybe I'll put a link to it here. That's where I met Paul, was at Foxborough Stadium on the middle night between the 2 shows. Okay, now we're jumping 3 years later to Toronto, Canada. And yes, we took a trek up there to see Paul at Exhibition Stadium. This one's going to be a little better of seeing Paul, and then it will even get better for Giant Stadium. So look out for that. Here's Paul's limo arriving, and there's Paul's hand. Again, Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. And here you can see Paul a little bit. There he is. There's Paul. Again, Exhibition Stadium, Toronto, and here's an even better one. Not the greatest, but that's what we could get, folks. There's Paul with his sunglasses on, waving to everybody as he arrived at Exhibition Stadium. Doing my best to hold it steady, too. And the Exhibition Stadium shows aren't the greatest, but here's some Smoke and Bombs from Live and Let Die. View from where we were. Not too far back. It seems much further in these pictures, but look at the crowd in front, especially in the next one. In person, we're not that far away when you think about it. So you can see where we are. It's at Exhibition Stadium. Okay, off to Giant Stadium now. Again, I left a lot out that were not in the greatest shape, folks, that just would have been boring for you to sit and look at, that were either washed out or faded, whatever. They didn't look good. But here's Giant Stadium now. Again, only a couple of weeks, week and a half after the Exhibition Stadium one. And these you're going to like, folks, because we got Paul good in this one. Here's Paul arriving with Linda backstage at Giant Stadium, June of 1993. The New World Tour. Here's the best one. Not the greatest, but pretty good. Nice close-up of Paul right there. Again, not the greatest, but you get the idea. And then, of course, he went through the gate. And one last shot of the limo. And a few from the stage. I mean, still on the floor for this show at Giant Stadium, but, you know, not bad. A little off to stage right, I guess you'd call it. Robbie and Paul up on the cherry picker. Anyone who went to this tour knows the cherry picker, because I think I got a couple of close shots of the cherry picker coming up. Stage view. Again, we were much closer than this would indicate to you at home. I mean, we were like, you got to picture it. We're sitting, not too bad. Okay, we zoomed in on the photograph in this one. Paul at the multicolored psychedelic piano. Again, sorry, folks. Here's a good, not a good one as far as glare and all that, but, and being faded, but that's the cherry picker. When they came out on the cherry picker, zooming in, we got that. Here's a little better one of the cherry picker. Linda and Paul. It almost looks like Paul and Linda are looking towards us, too. And this must have been earlier. We took this, Paul, they had a big banner up above the stage, the New World Tour. And here's a few of the actual show itself, some more. And I think another friend of mine took these because he was on another side of the other side of the stage. I'm not sure. Paul fist pumping the crowd. There's a good close one. Another close one. Real nice one of Paul and Robbie. Really good one of Hamish and Paul. Again, zoom lens on these. One of my friend had a zoom. Nice one of Paul there with his Les Paul. a zoom in of the cherry picker photo. And they're all out on the cherry picker and all the confetti was coming down. And last but not least for this video, a final picture of Paul with the Les Paul. There he is. From the New World Tour. Okay, folks, that's part one. Part two coming up.